From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news first at 4.
Honoring a longtime judge, a look at the impact Judge Tom Blackwell made in Central Texas. And first at 4, the talk of the town and the cold snap that most of the country is under. Good afternoon, everyone. An Arctic cold front is bringing frigid temperatures from parts of the Mountain West all the way to the eastern seaboard.
We begin our coverage with NBC's Leanne Gray.
Close to 20 Colorado counties. News, Denver.
Well, this cold snap has people in our Texas Hill Country rushing to get ready. We'll check in with KXAN's Connie Swinney live in Round Mountain in northern Blanco County. But first, Jim Spencer live in our First Warning Weather Center.
Yeah, the Rockies to Richmond and now to Texas. That front moving into the Panhandle at the present time. Not bad, Austin. We will talk about that in just a few minutes, but the Hill Country likely to get hit hardest with this storm and with this freezing weather. Connie Swinney is out there to tell us now how the preparations are going for our first winter storm of the season. Connie?
Well, Jim, preparations are underway out here. People are taking precautions like covering their pets and also their plants. Here's a rancher out here in Round Mountain who's putting a nice warm halter on a horse, and that's just some of the things that they do out here. Now, there are a few steps you can take around the house to brace for this cold weather. Now, freezing conditions around curtains or even clothing, but we'll keep you updated on some of the cold weather coming up later on. Reporting in Round Mountain, Connie Swinney, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Some good reminders there, Connie. Thank you very much. A fire caused by a gas main break is under investigation today in southwest Austin. Firefighters were called to the 7700 block of Capano Drive, just south of William Canyon in Mopac, after a construction crew hit the gas line. The tractor that hit the line caught fire, and luckily there are no injuries to report.
A one-year-old girl is recovering this afternoon after being bit in the face by a dog. According to EMS officials, the attack happened around 10 this morning at a home in Bastrop County. The victim's relatives were attempting to drive the injured child to Austin for medical attention when they pulled over on the side of Ross Road and Highway 71 to catch an ambulance. Investigators have not released what type of dog bit the child. Her injuries are not life-threatening.
So he came in directly into the office of the Alamo Village and basically brought out a gun and told the manager to take him to the safe, which she did.
Another burglary by a serial robber in Austin, and now police have him on camera. The suspect entered the Alamo Draft House on Anderson Lane, went to the office and pulled his gun. This is the 6th robbery since August, and police believe this man is behind them all. At each restaurant, police say he scopes out the place first, learns where the safe is, and when there is the least activity, and then he strikes. Altogether, officers believe he's stolen up to $50,000. Officers say he hasn't hurt anybody, but has come close on several occasions. They're encouraging all restaurant owners to step up security and call APD if you recognize him.
Legend, that's the term being used to describe Judge Thomas Blackwell. The judge died from a heart attack on December 1st. Today, a memorial service was held downtown for the judge. Hundreds of people showed their respect for the man who served with a smile. As KXAN Santa Henderson reports, some say there will never be another quite like Judge Blackwell.
He was honest and fair, and you could...
He says, among many things, he loved his Texas Longhorns. Santa Henderson, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Amazing man there, Santa. Well, Saddam Hussein, Austin area HEB stores. That's a great cause.
It is, and we hope to see you again back here at 6 o'clock for more local news and weather.
Keep it right here on KXAN for NBC Nightly News at 5:30. Access Hollywood is next. We'll see you at 6.
Residents in the Hill Country bracing for upcoming freezing conditions. I have ways for you to prepare. I'm Connie Swinney. That story coming up.
As you can see, Williamson County is growing by leaps and bounds, but unfortunately, so is their foreclosure rate. I'm Haley Stevano, and coming up next, I'll explain.
Hoping to hook 'em in the Rose Bowl, we'll show you why getting a ticket may be the toughest game in town.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 6.
First tonight, the cold snap. Jim Spencer will show us just how low the temperatures will be going. And KXAN's Connie Swinney watched a flurry of activity today in the Hill Country ahead of the cold front.
KXAN NBC Austin.
And 14 years ago tonight, 4 young girls were murdered in what is now known as the Yogurt Shop murders. Amy Ayers, Elisa Thomas, and Sarah and Jennifer Harbison were killed in the I Can't Believe It's Yogurt Shop in North Austin. 2 men stand convicted for the crimes. Robert Springsteen was sentenced to death and Michael Scott received life in prison. But there is a new development tonight in Michael Scott's life sentence. Our Chris Willis is live tonight with those details. Chris.
Michelle, good evening. This is where it all happened, that horrible night of murder 14 years ago. I'll step out of the way. It was the I Can't Believe It's Yogurt Shop, and people have gathered as they always do on December 6th. Every single year, 14 years now, to remember 4 young lives. Michael Scott was convicted September of 2002, nearly 11 years after the brutal murders of those 4 young girls. One of the key pieces of evidence in his trial was the confession of his co-defendant, Robert Springsteen. That confession was used against him, and now it may be one of the reasons that the Court of Criminal Appeals has agreed to take a second look.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news first at 4.
Several Austin police officers accused of wrongdoing this year. How is it affecting the department? That story coming up next.
Federal investigators work to put together the pieces of the puzzle leading to this deadly Southwest Airlines crash.
And taking a live look outside from our KXAN Tower Cam, another cold and blustery day in Central Texas. Jim Spencer will have the forecast in minutes. But first, some breaking news this afternoon, first at 4. A power outage that's been causing some problems in Southwest Austin, some traffic headaches. KXAN's Laura Skirty is live at 360 near Mopac to tell us what caused all of this. Hi, Laura.
Hi there, Michelle. Good news to report. The light is back on here at the intersection of Mopac and 360. Even on a good day, this is a high traffic area. Add in all of the holiday shoppers heading to and from nearby Barton Creek Square Mall, and we had a traffic nightmare. This all started a little after 2 o'clock this afternoon. The power came on about an hour later, but not before backing up traffic on 360, 2 miles in both directions. We've got live Chopper 36 up for you this afternoon. Let's take a look at what happened at this very substation nearby. A squirrel got caught in a piece of equipment, and that is what caused this outage, which at its peak caused 14,000 people to be without power, including the busy Barton Creek Square Mall. Now, the lights came on in the mall about an hour later, just when this traffic light came on again. We took a walk through there. Some shops were still locked up without power. A lot of employees sitting around, but overall, everyone seemed to be handling it well. And here's the good news. If you're heading out on the roads today, you can see traffic is once again moving. But that was after a 2-mile backup, as I mentioned. Talked to some shoppers that were in the mall when the power went out. They said everyone handled it very well, made a few cash transactions while they were in the dark, and then kind of just sat it out and waited for the power to go back on. Talked to another gentleman who has a business around here. He says power outages seem to be a problem around here. His business has lost power about 4 times in the last year when no sort of weather was going on. They've actually complained to the city about that, so we're going to be following up on that for you at News 35 at 6. But for now, live here at 360 and Mopac, you can head out this way and do your holiday shopping. Power back on for you. I'm Laura Skirty. Back to you.
All that from a little squirrel.
Amazing. And they've had that before. That's what's incredible.
Temperatures did make it above freezing today, but many of us are still shivering.
Expect the temperatures to fall again tonight as the cold snap stays with us. Take a live look right now at the roads from our KXAN TxDOT camera, and you can see it's pretty much business as usual. No ice on the roads, but plenty of traffic to give you some headaches.
And it's a different story, though, in the Northeast. 3 to 9
been treated and released from a Chicago hospital.
DPS troopers are investigating this deadly crash near Thrall in Williamson County. KXAN Chopper 36 was over the scene near County Road 434 around 9:30 this morning. Investigators say they found the body of a man inside this car, which apparently veered off the road and into a creek. Early information shows the driver may have had a heart attack, lost control, and crashed the vehicle.
A home is gutted in Southwest Austin after an early morning fire. Firefighters were called to the home on Maulding Pass. The elderly couple living inside were awakened by the smoke detector. Damages are estimated at about $200,000. Investigators have ruled the cause to be accidental. The Red Cross is assisting the couple.
And listen to this. Austin firefighters now say a candle caused the fire Wednesday morning at this home in North Austin. 2 adults and 2 children living in the home on Rich Creek Drive were able to escape the smoke and flames. Investigators say the candle was burning unattended. So far this year, several Austin cops have been fired, from an officer shooting and killing a teenager to another accused of inappropriately touching women during traffic stops. So how is the morale at the Austin Police Department? KXAN's Sally Hernandez joins us live with those answers. Sally?
You know, Michelle, it really depends on who you ask. Some people say that the morale is fine. Others say that it's the lowest that they've ever seen. Several Austin police officers retired.
Positions.
And a grand jury has handed down an indictment in a murder case in Horseshoe Bay. We also have new details from those documents about how prosecutors believe the victim was killed. KXAN's Connie Swinney joins us live from our Hill Country Bureau with this update.
Well, Michelle, the Llano County jury handed down this indictment, and it was against the son, and they're accusing him of killing the father, who's a wealthy Horseshoe Bay retiree. They believe that the victim was first struck in the head and then strangled with an electrical cord. 38-year-old
explains all that coming up in sports.
And KXAN Live Chopper 36 is patrolling the air above Austin right now over I-35 and downtown. Again, slow going, business as usual, as you might say. Breaking news happens. You'll see it first here on KXAN News First at 4.
30-minute show devoted to Vince Young's run for the Heisman. All right, other college football. Chris Stipes in San Marcos. Big one tonight, Texas State and Northern Iowa in the playoffs. And Chris, you're with the tailgater, so the obvious question, have you scored any free food?
Not yet. Give it time, though. You drive 20 minutes south from Austin, and you got another #1 team here. Texas State and Northern Iowa tonight. Got some things to take care of first with Northern Iowa. Kickoff 7 o'clock. Bobcats and Panthers. Take a look around. It is a crazy college football atmosphere here. People are going to definitely get ready for the game. This is the furthest the Bobcats have been in 1AA in the history. Northern Iowa, of course, beat #1 New Hampshire last week. Texas State taking care of Cal Poly 14-7. Let's try it. I'm not making any promises. Let's try it. Let's talk to some of these guys. What is it about getting out here and tailgating tonight?
Oh, man, it's just, you know, it's a Bobcat spirit that we got, and we haven't been here in a long time, so we're really excited about being here, and it's just, everybody's out here just supporting it. It's just so much fun.
Third straight home playoff game. What's it going to take tonight?
Well, we have to have a good, solid play, I guess. I mean, control the turnovers and just don't make any mistakes, and we'll make championships.
Predictions?
We're going to win. 35-28. 35-28.
35-28.
Hey, I'll tell you what it takes. Get me on camera, man. It's not going to take that.
Takes a little barbecue is what it takes. Take a look.
Come over here. It's not going to take that. No, sir. No, sir. Come follow.
All right, we're not following anything. We're going to send it back to you. It is 7 o'clock kickoff, and again, Chris Willis down in San Marcos. Back to you.
Chris, I don't know about that. I think there's a little 1AA barbecue. We need a bigger pit going on there, brother.
Good luck to the
Nothing.
Hey, here I am.
Oh, here we are. Sim Sullivan.
They're bundled up. You saw that.
Yeah, this is the first time they're going to be playing in colder weather. Advantage to the other team, I would think, visitors.
Possibly, yeah, but once they get out there and run a few plays,
Get
the blood's
warmed
pumping.
up.
You bet. The fans are going to be a little bit chilly. That's for sure. Do bundle up if you're headed down to that national semifinal game tonight there in San Marcos. It is not going to get any warmer, trust me. The clouds today have kept it kind of cool. Let's take a view from KXAN Chopper 36 in the sky over West Austin right now, looking out toward the hills, and you can tell we're still overcast, and that's what's kept us so cool today, but we can thank those clouds also for keeping it not as cold early this morning as it would have otherwise been. Yeah, we're overcast for sure, but let's go live to the hill country. Our Llano camera showing a clearing line out there to the west. We're panning back to the west across Llano County, and check it out. Look at there. Let's zoom in on that and show you actually where in our viewing area today we are seeing clear skies. Way off there to the west in western Llano County and Gillespie County, and as a result, temperatures there a bit warmer. All right. Let's go. That's far enough. Let's go to the lows this morning. Temperatures out in the hill country, 16 degrees in...
A traffic snarl, a mall full of shoppers, all caught in the middle of a power outage, and you'll be surprised to learn what caused all the commotion.
We saw a big plane flying low and heading towards the cap.
A scare today for those of you who called us about a low-flying plane. We'll have that story coming up.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 6.
Good evening, everyone. The power is back on tonight for residents in southwest Austin. It turns out a squirrel caught in a substation near Barton Creek Square Mall left 14,000 people without power. KXAN Chopper 36 caught those in the middle of it here at this busy intersection at Mopac and 360. The traffic light went out, leaving many in a 2-mile jam and hundreds inside Barton Creek Square Mall in the dark.
It was kind of scary at first just because I was hoping that, it wasn't, somebody that did it intentionally.
Tonight at 10, hear from business owners who say this has been a recurring problem in the last year, and tonight they are demanding some answers.
2 years after the murder of Harris Degnan, police have finally arrested their third and final suspect. Roy Maloney was taken into custody at his home in southwest Austin yesterday. He's been charged with beating the 21-year-old Degnan to death back in 2003. Maloney is now in jail along with the other 2 suspects in the crime. Police say the 3 men entered Degnan's home with baseball bats and beat him to death. The motive? About 50 pounds of marijuana. We'll speak with the victim's family and friends tonight at 10. A former Austin police officer is now behind bars. This morning, a federal judge sentenced former officer Lance McConnell to 10 years in federal prison. McConnell pleaded guilty back in September to 7 counts of child pornography. Investigators confiscated several computers from his Lockhart home, including one with more than 300 images of children in sexually explicit positions. Now, McConnell isn't the only officer fired from the Austin Police Force this year. In fact, it's been a tough year full of controversy at APD. KXAN Sally Hernandez joining us live in our newsroom with more on the sensitive story. Sally?
Jim, so much controversy. There's even a poll online asking if you approve of Chief Stan Nee. And with so many officers retiring today, a total of about 13, we had to ask, is the police department in bad shape? An officer shoots and kills a teenager. Another pleads guilty to several pounds of marijuana and lots of cocaine off the streets of Austin as well. Back to you.
Thanks, Ellie. A lot of people working in downtown Austin are still talking about a low-flying plane this morning. It happened near the state capitol around 11 o'clock this morning. Folks who work near the area were alarmed when a military plane, a C-130, was just outside their office window.
And we ran to the windows. We saw a big plane flying low and heading towards the Capitol. So it kind of put a lump in our throats as we watched where it was going and what it was going to do and wondered who it was.
The Texas Department of Public Safety tells KXAN News that the pilots of the C-130 were given the okay to fly over the state capitol. The Southwest plane is still on Chicago Street and on a Chicago.
KXAN, NBC Austin.
Texas State versus Northern Iowa Division I AA semifinal football. I'm Chris Willis. We talk live to the fans, but we don't want to risk the FCC violation. Details coming up.
All righty, Chris. And giving hope this holiday season to those who depend on your generosity.
Hi, my name is Tina Airman Perkins. I am currently deployed in South.
Got the pretty girls around Chris. All right, well, now on to something a little bit more serious. Imagine being unable to heat your home during this cold snap or afford the food or prescription drugs that keep you alive. What's a reality facing a growing number of your neighbors in Williamson County? Roger Wallace shows you a way you can help them during the holidays.
All these are old, except I put them up every year because it's memories from way back, because this is where we was raised. They left me here, Mama and Daddy. And I live here alone. It's hard now because I just depend on the little money they sent me from Social Security. I can't work.
That little bit of money still isn't enough to cover the cost of utilities that some of us take for granted.
I had trouble with my gas, that it went up to $100. The caring place helped me.
The caring place is
basically the social services organization for emergency assistance in Georgetown. So we provide, in addition to emergency food through our food pantry, we can help people with emergency financial assistance.
Not to mention prescriptions, medical, dental, and even home rebuilds.
The paint was peeling off and everything, you know, was looking bad. Now I can just walk there and hold to that.
But now the Caring Place and its thrift store need help, helping more than 10,000 others just like Miss Ramirez. Without it,
if the Caring Place didn't exist, there's not really another organization like us that serves Georgetown and northern Williamson County. So families might have to leave this area.
I never did want to, but if someday I have to, I'm going to dread it.
Now, there are a variety of things you can do to help the Caring Place. You can volunteer, donate blankets, space heaters, and gift cards, or you can also donate while you shop at their Fabulous Finds resale store. For more information, call 512-869-4735 or log on to KXAN.com.
A cold day today, but not like this morning in the Hill Country. Check out Cherokee High School. Started the day at 16 degrees, 39 currently. Other low temperatures, 12, 14, 16, 20. That wasn't even the coldest. Well, when will it warm up? Your forecast is next.
The murder suspect who didn't stray far from the crime scene. What a twist in an Austin cold case.
And find out what's next after all the freezing weather. Don't miss Jim Spencer's weekend forecast.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 10.
First tonight, a break in a 2-year-old murder case. And get this, the suspect lived right down the street from the crime scene.
He's the third man arrested for the Beatty murder. And as KXAN's Jenny Hoff shows us in our top story, the lead came from a man who has been behind bars since 2003.
Weekend, the forecast coming up.
It wasn't the cold weather or any other form of Mother Nature's fury. Rather, it was something a little furry that caused a major headache for drivers, shoppers, and businesses in southwest Austin this afternoon. KXN's Laura Skirty explains.
At the peak of holiday shopping Friday afternoon, locked doors here at Barton Creek Square in South Austin.
Well, the mall was all dark.
A blackout.
It was kind of scary at first just because I was hoping that, it wasn't, somebody that did it intentionally.
And that's not all. 3 miles away at this office park.
About 2:15, we were working here in our office, and suddenly we lost power. Well, I lost about 3 hours of productivity today, not to mention the people that were sitting out there in traffic with no traffic lights.
A lot of people. Traffic backed up from Mopac to the east to Highway 360 to the north, Southwest Parkway to the west, and Oak Hill to the south. All because of
one squirrel.
One unfortunate squirrel who got into some equipment at this substation near the mall, sparking the outage. The lights started to come back on here at the mall after about 40 minutes, but it took well over an hour for all power to be restored. Now, during that time, some stores shut their doors completely. Others allowed shoppers to browse in the dark. Mall management reports no problems during the outage, and all in all, shoppers seem to take the interruption in stride.
We stayed in and we were trying to pay for something cash.
I'll come back another day. Maybe we'll have electricity.
But not everyone's happy.
I would say the past year we've had a power outage probably 4 times, not counting this incident. So this would probably make it about the 5th time we've had a power outage.
Now, I talked to Austin Energy spokesman Ed Clark about this business's complaint tonight. He says the substation in that area hasn't had a lot of problems, so the source of the multiple outages must be something else. Now, Austin Energy has a special unit that investigates individual cases like this, and crews will be looking into it on Monday.
A man is dead after a crash near Thrall in Williamson County. KXAN Chopper 36 was over the scene near County Road 434 around 9:30 in the morning. Investigators say they found the body of a man inside this car, which apparently veered off the road and into a creek. Early information shows the driver may have had a heart attack, lost control, and crashed his vehicle.
Election Day is still
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news first at 4.
Fire guts this local home. We'll have the pictures you will not see anywhere else from KXAN Chopper 36.
And we now know a lot more about a UT student found dead in a fraternity house. The very latest coming up.
And the U.S. Supreme Court will tackle Texas redistricting. We have new reaction. First at 4 on KXAN, investigators are still searching for what caused a house fire this morning in Jonestown. Take a look at this video. KXAN Chopper 36 was high above the scene minutes after the call came in. This home is located in Jones Brothers Park, which is in the Sandy Creek arm of Lake Travis. KXAN's Haley Stavino is live there with our top story.
Good afternoon, Robert. That's right. The Travis County Fire Marshals are still on the scene investigating exactly what caused this house fire early this morning. It happened around 9 a.m. That's when firefighters got the call. But luckily, the fire station, the North Lake Travis Fire Department, is just 4 blocks up the street. So they were able to, Travis County Fire Marshals are still on the scene investigating. We hope to have more information for you at 6 tonight on KXAN. Reporting live in Jonestown, Haley Stavino at KXAN, NBC Austin.
Now more on the death of an 18-year-old man at a University of Texas fraternity home. Police responded to a 911 call on San Pedro near 28th Street over the weekend. That's where police found the body. KXAN's Silva Harapetian is live in the West Campus neighborhood with the very latest.
Good afternoon, Robert. The house behind me, the Lambda Phi Epsilon house, now very quiet. If you take a closer look, a candle sits in front of the house burning at this hour in the memory of 18-year-old Fanta Jack Pumanta. The 18-year-old was a freshman at UT studying computer science. We're told he's from Houston and was part of the Lambda Phi Epsilon fraternity. He was found dead on Saturday afternoon. Police are calling his death not suspicious, but EMS officials tell KXAN his death may have been alcohol-related. Dean of Student Services at UT says the school is now investigating the incident.
What we've done is taken interim action against the organization and suspended them pending an investigation into the circumstances of the student's death.
Back here live on San Pedro, where the fraternity house is now mourning the death of one of its own. The dean says that the suspension of the fraternity house is a normal cause of action. And with that said, there are a few reasons why a fraternity organization would be under suspension, some of which are hazing and inappropriate use of alcohol. Again, the cause of death is now still unknown pending the toxicology results. Silva Harapetian, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Investigators blame the weather for a large water main break on South 1st Street this afternoon. KXAN's Jenny Hoff is live at the scene with the latest information, and we have more exclusive pictures from Chopper 36. Jenny?
Robert, I'm here at South 1st and Ditmar, and you're going to want to avoid this intersection for the next several hours if you can. It's pretty congested as they do repair work. Now, if you want to take a look at the pictures of what this water main break looked at about 1 o'clock this afternoon, it started off as a gurgle and then within minutes burst to spray water 40 to 50 feet into the air. Now remember, as you said, this is weather related, and this is the 61st water main break that has happened here since Wednesday. And officials say it's really not that uncommon with those freezing temperatures that lasted more than 24 hours last week. But it's also because of some old plumbing and piping, which they do plan on fixing sometime. Now, of those 61 water main breaks, 31 have been high priority, meaning it has shut off the water for hours for several hundred people in the area. Later tonight at 10, we'll tell you what the city is doing to fix the problem. Reporting live from South Austin, Jenny Hoff, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Gunfire in an East Austin neighborhood Friday night as an ordinary traffic stop goes bad. Now Austin police say they have caught the man who shot at them. About 10 o'clock Friday night, near Rebicki Avenue, officers spotted 2 men in a car driving with no taillights. When officers asked the driver to get out of the car, he took off running. Police say he fired 5 times as he ran away. 2.5-year APD veteran Ronaldo Canizales shot back once. Both men from the car escaped, though. Even with all the bullets flying, nobody was hurt.
In the video, it is not clear who fired first. But it really doesn't matter. If a man turns on an officer with a gun, the officer does not have to wait till they fire before that officer can fire.
By tracing the owner of the car, investigators identified and arrested 22-year-old Geraldo Benitez Aguilar on Monday. Aguilar has admitted shooting at the police officers, and police still want to know the second man's identity. Aguilar is in jail right now for attempted capital murder under a $100,000 bond. The highest court in the nation will have the final say now over whether political lines in Texas are legal.
It's 7 Central.
Gone in minutes. Find out why the suspected spark to this Central Texas fire may be all too familiar in your household. Wasted Water will explain what sent up this geyser in South Austin today and why you should stay away. A spontaneous shootout. Find out how Austin police nabbed a suspect they say opened fire on officers very unexpectedly.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 6.
Topping KXAN News, a fire that destroyed a home in Jonestown. Take a look. KXAN's Chopper 36 was at the scene just minutes after the call came in this morning. The home is located in Jones Brothers Park, which is in the Sandy Creek arm of Lake Travis. KXAN's Haley Savino is live at the scene with the investigation report.
That's right, Robert. The Travis County fire marshals are just now wrapping things up. They're packing up and heading home, but they say they have still not been able to determine a cause just yet. The renter of this home actually said she did leave a candle burning while she came outside and looked for her cat. Now that's something that we've all been guilty. I know I've stepped outside to look for the dogs and have left a candle burning. Authorities here say you need to be extremely careful this time of year when everything is so dry. But again, they have been investigating all day long. Firefighters were able to respond almost immediately because the fire station is just a couple blocks up the road. So that means firefighters were on the scene within minutes. There's some pictures that we got from our News Chopper 36. As you can see, the flames coming through. Now, again, firefighters, once they stepped outside, they were able to see it, but because they could see the smoke and the flames, they called in Cedar Park Fire Department for backup. But because there's no fire hydrants here in the park, firefighters thought at first that they were going to have to draft water out of the lake, but instead they were able to use tanker trucks to knock down the flames. Now, because Jonestown Fire Department is a small, half-paid staff, half-volunteer, crews had to do what they could until Cedar Park showed up to assist.
We got on scene probably less than 2 minutes, probably less than a minute. Took us a little bit to get our hose upstairs, but we worked from there. No one was injured, and that's the main.
Now, firefighters say they do know that the fire did begin on the 3rd floor. That is the living quarters, and they were able to determine that's where the flames began. But luckily, no one was hurt. We did try to talk to the renter. She said that she didn't want to speak to us. But again, tonight at 10, we hope to have more for you on KXAN. Reporting live from Jonestown, Haley Stavino at KXAN, NBC Austin.
A volunteer firefighter died in an explosion in Burnett County. 31-year-old Chad Wessels was on his way to a call with the Briggs Volunteer Fire Department on Saturday. Wessels was an 8-year volunteer veteran and also worked for the Fort Hood Fire Department. The back wheel of the tanker truck he was driving came off, causing him to lose control and hit a tree. The wreck trapped him as the truck's gas main ruptured and ignited. A water main broke in South Austin today, sending water shooting several feet into the air. Take a look. This is near the intersection of South 1st Street and Ditmar. City crews were able to shut off the water and cap the main at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, but they say repairs could take up to 6 hours. They encourage drivers to steer clear of the area tonight as workers shut down several sections of the streets. At this point, the break appears to be weather-related. We'll have much more on how recent weather has stressed pipes all around Central Texas and how much it's costing Austin tonight on our news. KXAN Silvahara Petian spent today uncovering new information about the UT student found dead at a fraternity house over the weekend. She joins us now live here in the studio with the latest.
Well, Robert, the Lambda Phi Epsilon house was 18-year-old Fanta Jack Fumarat found dead on Saturday afternoon. He was a freshman at UT, a computer science major and a member of the Lambda Phi Epsilon fraternity. His death, police say, is not suspicious, but
the 61st water main break at Austin since Wednesday. I'm Jenny Hoff, and I'll tell you what the city plans to do to fix the problem.
Fire shoots through the roof of a Lake Travis home. See the pictures from the air. That's next.
Water everywhere, and the problem affects your sink. We'll show you what Austin is doing about a recent rash of main breaks. A homeowner looking for a runaway cat returns home to this. Find out why the Central Texas home burned so quickly. And we'll arm you with improved protection against a potential flu pandemic.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 10.
The weather might be warming up, but the cold remains, and city-owned water lines and water main breaks are popping up right and left. KXAN's Jenny Hoff investigated what the city is doing to stop the problem and the water. Jenny.
Robert, this was the scene at South 1st Street and Ditmar today, a leak that turned into a big mess and cut off water for hundreds of people. It's just one of dozens of water main breaks we've seen over the last few days, and only part of the problem is the weather. They've been popping up all over the city, starting off as a gurgle and soon spraying water 50 feet into the air, flooding roads and some people's backyards.
I'm glad it didn't happen across the street from my house. But yeah, if you see this, it's like, I guess it was because of freezing, I don't know.
He's referring to the water main break that happened on Rio Grande Thursday, and he's right. Weather caused this, and this, each one causing hundreds of people to lose water for hours, if not more than a day. This is the 61st water main break that's happened in Austin since Wednesday, and workers say they still have about 30 more to repair.
There are low priority repairs reported last week that we have not been able to get to yet because we've been dealing with the ones that were causing significant damage.
The city says it's not unusual to have these breaks with the weather below freezing for more than 24 hours. But it doesn't help when many of the pipes need replacing anyway.
Some of it is old, and so we are looking at replacing and updating some of those older water lines.
Now, the city has not calculated how much it's costing to do all of these repairs, but it won't be cheap. The pipes they'll be replacing will be in the older parts of the city, like downtown and the UT campus. However, they won't be replacing these pipes with a more weather-resistant piping, because in this climate, it just won't be cost-effective. Robert.
That is for sure. Let's check in with Jim Spencer. And Jim, these pipes bursting all over the place, it's not a good thing. We need some calmer weather around here.
Yeah, and low 70s today. Certainly no freezing weather imminent here for the next couple of days anyway. The reason for that, we have a Pacific storm system out here over California that is just about a few minutes.
Flames ripped through a home in Jonestown this morning. Take a look. KXAN's Chopper 36 was on the scene just minutes after the call came in. This home is located in Jones Brothers Park, which is in the Sandy Creek arm of Lake Travis. A passerby alerted the North Lake Travis Fire and Rescue Station just a few blocks away. But because there was no fire hydrants in the area, firefighters had to make do with their tanker trucks.
When we first got on scene, we actually did what we call a defensive fire. We worked from the outside until we could get more people on scene. Since we're a small, part paid, part volunteer department, we were limited on personnel until we get them on other stations here. Then we carried hose up the stairs, three flights of stairs, till we made entrance on the 3rd floor and started working from there, doing an interior.
Firefighters say there were a lot of flammable materials on the top of the floor there that fueled the fire. The woman renting the home told firefighters she left a candle burning inside while she went outside to look for her cat. Well, we're still waiting on toxicology reports to determine what killed a University of Texas freshman over the weekend. 18-year-old Fanta Jack Puramatha was found on Saturday afternoon in the Lambda Phi Epsilon fraternity house on San Pedro Street. Austin police say his death is not.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news first at 4.
Did jail staff ignore warning signs from a suicidal inmate? I'm Santa Henderson. I have more on the lawsuit against Williamson County.
And if you've got packages to mail and you want them to arrive before Christmas, there's a few things you should know. I'm Haley Stevano, and I'll have that story coming up next.
First at 4 on KXAN, new developments in a murder case, a double murder case, in fact, that happened 2 weeks ago here in Austin. Within the last several hours, Austin police tell us they have charged 2 people for the deaths of these people, Junior Perez and Pete Solis. It happened back on December 1st. KXAN's Jenny Hoff just finished interviewing detectives. She joins us live with late-breaking developments. Jenny.
Robert, as you mentioned, 2 men have been charged, but 2 men are not behind bars. They have arrested 18-year-old Luis Benitez, but they are still looking for 21-year-old John Anthony Pacina, and they're asking for your help tonight in catching this man. Now, these 2 men are charged with the December 1st murders of Pedro Solis and Junior Perez. The victims had just left the Desperado nightclub on the December 1st in the early morning hours and went to an after party on Isabella Drive. Witnesses at the party tell police 2 men wearing ski masks and carrying guns came into the house around 4 a.m. and started shooting. When police got to the scene, 1 man was already dead. The other one died shortly thereafter the hospital. Detectives are telling us that they believe the motive for these murders was robbery. They don't know if there was any connection between the victims and the robbers, but again, they're asking for your help in finding 21-year-old John Anthony Pacina. They do not have a picture to release at this time, but if you have any information on his whereabouts, call the Austin Police Department. Later tonight at 6, we will bring you the very latest information as it comes down on this investigation. Reporting live from APD headquarters, Jenny Hoff, KXAN, NBC Austin.
New details are out today in the case of an inmate who committed suicide while in jail. New at 4, KXAN Santa Henderson joins us live with why the parents of Luke Ashley are shocked by what they heard in federal court today. Santa.
Robert, it was 2003 when Luke actually killed himself in the Williamson County Jail. His parents claim he did so after giving warnings to jail staff. It claims the staff knew that he was suicidal but did nothing to protect him. Luke Ashley was 24 years old when he died. He hanged himself with a towel in his jail cell. Now, attorneys for Williamson County dispute the claims made by the family. They also say that jail staff took viable, necessary steps to try to help Luke Ashley. Now, this case is being heard before a judge, not a jury, so a judge will decide just who's negligent or who's wrong in this case. Live in the newsroom, Santa Henderson, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Well, 2 more water main breaks have been reported today in Austin, just 2 of many that crews have been called out to respond to since last week's freeze. Both look nothing like this. It was spotted yesterday by KXAN's Chopper 36. This was the scene as water shot 40 feet into the air at South First at Ditmar. This break was fixed at 6 o'clock last night. In response to the recent breaks, city officials say they plan to replace some piping in older parts of Austin. There's no word on the exact cost of these repairs. Today, the government is reporting retail sales were up. 2 friends, 2 fathers gunned down at a party. Now Austin police narrow down 2 men who may help them close this case. Here's what not to do when facing arrest. See how it ends for this Texas suspect on the run.
I'm Rich Parsons live at the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar where the battle for your holiday buck is in full swing. I'll have the story coming up.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 6.
Topping KXAN News tonight, an arrest and new charges in a December 1st double murder. Austin police now have 2 suspects. KXAN's Jenny Hoff has more on the investigation and reaction from the victims' families.
Robert, police are still searching for one of...
Stick around for that.
It's supposed to be the season of peace and joy, but retailers are fighting a furious battle for your holiday dollars. It looks like there could be fewer dollars to be had this year. KXAN's Rich Parsons is live at the heart of Austin's holiday shopping, the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar, with more. Rich?
Robert, you can find just about anything imaginable for a gift down here, from handmade leather purses to hand-blown glass porpoises, maybe even a few things a lot of folks can't imagine, like these guys. I'm not really sure what they look kind of like our photographers. Anyway, when you're out choosing that perfect gift, think about this. Where you choose to buy it also has a big impact on someone in the holiday season. From the big box retailers like Target to the boutique shops of South Congress.
I am looking for something in gold.
Shoppers like Stuart Cameron admit they're pinching pennies.
And trying to be a little bit smarter shopper this year just because money's a little tight this year.
Early sales numbers for the holiday season back Cameron's spending cuts and support with shop owner Maya Kraus.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news first at 4.
A baby and a mother trapped inside this burning building on the 3rd floor. You have to see what happens next.
And a weapon in the fight against anthrax discovered right here in Austin. The scientific breakthrough, new at 4.
We begin with new information about the death of a University of Texas student. The Travis County Medical Examiner's Office has just confirmed to KXAN News that this man, 18-year-old Jack Pomeroth, died from acute alcohol poisoning. Dr. Robert Barado also added that they expect to have the toxicology results as early as Friday. Pomeroth was found dead inside the Lambda Phi Epsilon fraternity house in West Campus last Saturday.
A Round Rock child predator banned from using any computers after violating his probation. Randolph Cunningham, this guy right here, was convicted in August last year for attempting to meet and solicit sex with a minor over in Bastrop County. Well, after his arrest by officers with the Attorney General's Cyber Crimes Unit, Cunningham, seen here during his arrest, was sentenced to 150 days in county jail and 10 years of probation. Well, earlier this week, Cunningham admitted to viewing porn on the internet, a violation of his probation. A Bastrop district judge ordered him to stay away from computers until his 10-year probation ends. The judge also extended Cunningham's county jail sentence to 180 days. An update on the identity of a body found Sunday in Brushy Creek Lake Park. Cedar Park police have identified the body as 45-year-old Tin Hugh Fan from Tinley Park, Illinois. Fan had been reported missing out of Travis County on December 7th after visiting family members in the area. And at this time, there is nothing to indicate foul play was a factor in Fan's death.
The Austin City Council is expected to vote any minute now on an ordinance that affects downtown businesses, homeless folks, and day laborers. The 4 public order ordinances would address aggressive solicitation in Austin. The council passed 3 parts of the ordinance and tabled 1. Here's the breakdown. Solicitation in downtown is now limited to the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. No sitting, lying, and sleeping on the sidewalks downtown. No door-to-door solicitation, and the most controversial part of the ordinance would have banned roadside solicitation in Austin. This is one that would affect charities, day laborers, and anyone soliciting for any reason on the city roads. A day laborer support.
The way it was drafted is also brought in day laborers, which was never the intention of the council, but really to address that very alarming situation of someone pulling up their car.
Continues.
Time is now 4:08, and we have some breaking news right now coming out of Austin Bergstrom International Airport.
Round Rock police have just arrested a suspect they believe is connected to dozens of thefts in Williamson County. KXAN's Haley Savino is live at the airport. What can you tell us, Haley?
Well, Robert, I can tell you that Round Rock police have just arrested 17-year-old Shaylin Marie Davis, a student at Stony Point High School in Round Rock, apparently for burglary in Williamson County. According to the affidavit, Davis and her boyfriend were involved in a number of burglaries at the Little Red Wagon in Round Rock. But this is part of there's a bigger picture. They were part of an organized crime ring, and apparently they hit a number of car dealerships in the Georgetown and the Taylor area. Now, we know that...
From KXAN, NBC Austin, this is your news first at 4.
An arrest in the murder of this woman, but still no word on where the missing Austin woman is. We'll have the latest in this 4-year-old case. A Hill Country Catholic priest behind bars. You'll hear the shocking accusations involving a teenager at a movie theater. And the busiest day of the year at the post office will show you how to squeeze your packages through by Christmas. First at 4 on KXAN, breaking news in Miami Beach, Florida. At least 14 people are dead after the crash of a seaplane in the waters of Miami Beach. This plane was reportedly carrying 20 people and had just taken off for the Bahamas when it went down at about 1:30 Austin time. A Coast Guard spokesman says rescuers are not seeing any signs of survivors. Scuba divers and rescuers in speedboats are taking part in the search. Witnesses reported seeing an explosion before the plane went down. Because of that report, the FBI sent agents to take part in the investigation, but a spokeswoman says at this point there is no reason to suspect terrorism or sabotage. This plane went down in a narrow channel used by cruise ships in Miami. The company that owns the plane, Chalks Ocean Airways, was founded in 1919. Its floating airplanes take off in the water. The company's aircraft have been featured in TV shows like Miami Vice. We'll keep you posted on develops here at KXAN. Or topping our local news here at 4, an arrest for a murder without a body. KXAN's Silva Harapetian is live in Llano to bring us up to speed on the missing persons case that we've been following here since 2001. Silva.
Good afternoon, Robert. Now we're at the Llano County Sheriff's Department, where a man is in jail accused of killing his mother-in-law. Now, the family has been waiting for this arrest. Little did they know it was going to be someone in the family. This man, son-in-law to this woman, Shirley Cowan, is in jail. His name is Thomas James Negri. He was indicted last week in connection with her disappearance. She was last seen in January of 2001. At the time, she was building a house in Burnett County. Their police, inside that house, they found evidence of a crime. They found blood splatter inside that house. Shirley Cowan's body has never been found. She has been, at the time, police said the motive behind a killing or her disappearance may have been money. And as it turns out, the suspect, Negri, actually had a business relationship with Cowan. Negri's been charged with murder, and he's in this jail and will probably be facing the judge sometime next week. Live in Llano County, Silvahara Petión, KXAN, NBC Austin.
And a murder investigation continues in Hayes County. Sheriff's deputies there were called to a house in the 3800 block of Daisy Lane. They found a man dead from a gunshot wound. The victim is described as a Hispanic man, about 20 years old. His name has not been released. KXAN News attempted to speak with neighbors who may have seen what happened, but they refused comment, saying they did not want to become involved. Austin police just charged a suspect involved in a drive-by shooting Saturday, but have not released a name. The shooting happened on Savory Lane in southeast Austin at about 2:30 Saturday afternoon. Police say the shots came from a Chevrolet Suburban, hitting 22-year-old Alberto Garcia in the chest. He was able to drive a short distance before he crashed his car into a tree. His mother says she's got to stay strong for his 5 siblings.
All the children, you know, they're not even worried about Christmas anymore. They're just like, you know, there will be no Christmas for us this year.
Austin police are still looking for suspects, reportedly in a dark green 2004 Suburban. You might want to jot down this Texas license plate number. It is X46NBV. The Suburban has 20-inch chrome wheels. If you have any information, call the homicide tip line at 477-3588. Detectives will speak to us in the next hour. We'll bring you an update on this story tonight on KXAN News at 6. Well, this Central Texas Catholic priest has been arrested and accused of inappropriately touching a teenager. Father Paul Clogan is charged with indecency with a child by sexual contact. The alleged crime happened on Friday night at a Marble Falls theater. Police say Father Clogan sat next to the victim and grabbed the teenager's crotch while watching the movie King Kong. The teenager alerted a manager who called Marble Falls police. Clogan is a priest in the Austin Diocese and is pastor of St. Paul the Apostle Catholic Church in Horseshoe Bay. And police in San Marcos and Waco are trying to find women who may have been videotaped by this convicted sex offender. Matthew Ferguson was arrested for sexual assault in San Marcos on December 6th. The 33-year-old has since been charged with improperly photographing people. Authorities say they found videotapes with recordings of women when they searched Ferguson's San Marcos home. They are now trying to identify the women shown to determine if they were taped without their knowledge. Well, Brian Lewis McDaniels is among 13 fugitives who investigators with the Texas Attorney General's office have tracked down in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. They're all wanted in connection with some type of violent crime. McDaniels was wanted by the Louisiana Department of Public Safety on a probation violation after being convicted of having sex with a juvenile. He was arrested at his mother's house in southeast Austin. Governor Rick Perry is asking viewers. Michelle has the day off. The U.S. Postal Service expects to handle 900 million pieces of mail today. Postal centers in Austin are feeling the rush.
You can take that right onto the box.
The lines are long but moving. Post office at 6th and Guadalupe downtown. This is the last day to send a package priority mail in order to get it there by Christmas.
KXAN has a few words about the Rose Bowl.
Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em, hook 'em,
Hook 'em, hook 'em,
hook 'em, hook 'em,
hook 'em
horns. In this house, the answer is hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns. Hook 'em, hook 'em, hook 'em,
Hook 'em, hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns.
Good luck at the Rose Bowl from your fans at KXAN NBC. From KXAN NBC Austin. This is your news first at 4.
Plan for it not to happen. We plan to put smiles on kids' faces.
Carnival owner in tears after a child dies on a ride here in Austin. A KXAN crew is talking to police right now about the investigation. A University of Texas fraternity kicked off campus for years. You'll hear what the Dean of Students has contributed to the death of one of its own members. First today on KXAN, an exclusive interview with a murder suspect. Thomas Negri sits in the Llano County Jail today accused of killing his mother-in-law. Our Hill Country crew tracked him down in 2004 when investigators considered him a person of interest in the case. KXAN's Hill Country reporter Connie Swinney is live in Kingsland with that exclusive interview and the latest on the case. Connie.
Well, Robert, Thomas Negri had his own theory about what happened to 60-year-old Shirley Cowan. She was believed to have been killed here in Kingsland, but that's not what he thought. First, he said that she owed him money and that she suffered from emotional problems, but investigators believed they had a murder suspect on their hands. Now, 4 years ago,
she awaits a new trial. The University of Texas has just kicked the fraternity involved in a recent student death off the campus. The Dean of Students began investigating Lambda Phi Epsilon after the death of Fanta Jack Pumarath. They concluded hazing led the freshman to drink a deadly amount of alcohol. He died back on December 10th in the fraternity house. Lambda Phi Epsilon will not be allowed to return to UT Austin for another 6 years at least, and then the organization will have to go through another year of suspension and probation. That fraternity can now appeal today's decision. Austin police say a death at a North Austin Carnival ride appears to be an accident, but they are still investigating. The accident happened on Sunday night on a ride like this one called the Sizzler. The Carnival's operator says it appears 9-year-old Fatima Cervantes slipped out of the seat while the ride was moving and it struck her in the head. Patrick Crabtree has run the traveling carnival for 25 years and says the ride met all the safety requirements.
My family, my friends, you know, they've all ridden this. And it's just devastating.
The Texas Department of Insurance has some regulatory authority over the carnival rides. A TDI spokesman says Crabtree Amusements was in compliance with the law and has a good safety record. Well, you may recall there was another carnival ride death in Austin back in March of 1998. A 15-year-old Leslie Lane died after she was thrown from a carnival ride called the Himalaya. That happened at the Travis County Livestock Show and Rodeo. An investigation then showed a metal lap bar on the ride flung open because it did not have the proper sized pin. Later, the vice president of B&B Amusement Company pleaded guilty to manslaughter as part of a plea bargain agreement. A simple fireplace fire can ignite more than logs in a dirty chimney. That's what the fire investigators suspect happened last night to this home in North Austin. This investigation is still ongoing, but Jollyville firefighters believe the chimney fire spread through the attic. Luckily, a neighbor saw the flames and called 911. Firefighters say a quick response saved the house. They recommend that you have your chimney cleaned every year.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news first at 4.
Day 2 of chaos for millions of people coping with New York City's transit strike. Could the end be near? And what happened to just pulling over when an officer tries to stop you? Don't miss this crazy chase caught on tape right here in Texas this morning. We begin with breaking news and a local teacher behind bars. The substitute teacher from Pflugerville was picked up after allegedly traveling to Bastrop to meet a minor for sex. KXAN's Jim Bergamo is following this developing story. He's live in Pflugerville. And Jim, you just finished meeting with the Attorney General's office and school officials from Pflugerville.
Good one.
And Leaf John.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news first at 4.
An Arctic blast has arrived from the Hill Country to here in Austin and beyond. KXAN News First at 4 is your first source for information on the Central Texas cold snap. We have live team coverage throughout this afternoon.
And we begin with KXAN's Jim Spencer in the First Warning Weather Center. Hey, Jim.
Hi there. The critical item today has been, of course, the temperature. We've seen precipitation, but is it freezing where you are? Well, in many places, yes. We have dropped now below freezing across the metro area, except for southern Hays County. storm is still ahead here on KXAN News First at 4.
Well, you mentioned the Hill Country, and our live team coverage continues out west in the Hill Country where KXAN's Connie Swinney is at. She's in Marble Falls. Connie, what do the conditions look like right now?
Well, Michelle, we're already starting to see some accumulation on some of the wind chills around here and even some of the cars that are coming out from the colder areas. But we haven't yet seen some of the stuff on the roadways. Now, here's an area behind me that is on Highway 281. Aren't careful out here. Robert, back to you.
Okay, Connie, thanks very much. Reports of snow and sleet today in the north portion of our viewing area. Williamson County, KXAN's Haley Stavanoa is live in Georgetown following the latest there. Haley?
That's right, Robert. Temperatures have been dropping all day, and there's been a slight drizzle all day. But as you can see, it is below freezing, just like Jim Spencer said. My car even said it was like 26 degrees. I had a thin layer of ice on my windshield already, and it took a while for it to defrost. But we are hearing reports on standby. They're ready to come out and start sanding these roads down as the temperatures continue to get worse.
Haley, you said it, overpasses. The heart of Austin is full of overpasses that could be dangerous if they ice over tonight. KXAN's Rich Parsons is following those conditions in the city limits. Hey, Rich.
Well, Michelle, so far things out here in South Austin look pretty good. You can see this frontage road on South I-35 right here. It's basically dry right now, but crews are really worried about this behind me, the flyovers and the overpasses here along I-35 and throughout the city of Austin and Travis County. That's what they worry about freezing up first if some of this stuff starts to fall later this evening and overnight. But crews with the city of Austin and TxDOT are on standby right now to hit the roads and keep them clear. Tell you how the conditions are. Enjoy a nice warm evening made by the fire watching KXAN. We're live on South I-35. Rich Parsons, back to you.
Sounds like a good plan, Rich. Our live coverage on your road conditions will continue throughout the afternoon and online, as always, at KXAN.com. Local school officials are preparing for this cold snap. In Hayes County, maintenance crews walked around Barton Middle School today, making sure all the heaters and other equipment is functioning properly.
We got 96
And we have breaking news in Elgin, east of Austin this afternoon, where crews have been working to put out a fire downtown on Main Street. KXAN's Jim Bergamo is live in Elgin with the latest.
Robert, I can tell you the very latest is it's still very much working scene here, as you can see behind me. The plumes of smoke tell you that the wind is just wreaking havoc on this effort. In the words of the fire chief here of Elgin, he told me when he stepped out of his Suburban and he saw the wind whipping the flames, he said, "We didn't stand a chance here." This flame was almost fully engulfed moments after they got the alarm at 2 o'clock. You're looking at what was the old Elgin Lumber Company. It's been vacant for years, but again, as far as the source and everything else like this, we're not exactly sure, but they say they're going to be here for hours. I'd like to bring in Tim Craig right now, who is the branch manager of the First State Bank, which is the building right next door. Tim, your building suffered some minor damage with windows being blown out and minor water damage, but it could have been a lot worse. Tell me what happened, what you saw.
Well, what I did is I'd come back from the post office.
Another 3 hours. We'll have more on this coming up on KXAN News at 6 o'clock. Back to you.
Jim Bergamo with the first report from the scene there in Elgin. Thanks. Well, the weather is partly to blame for a deadly accident this morning in southwest Travis County. Two small trucks collided near the intersection of U.S. Highway 290 and Fitzhugh Road around 7:30 this morning. One person was killed at the scene. The other was taken to Brackenridge Hospital with critical injuries. Investigators believe unsafe speed and the weather caused this wreck.
And a North Austin family is homeless after a fire earlier today. Firefighters were called out to this home on Rich Creek near Woodrow around 10:30 this morning. 2 adults and 2 kids managed to escape without any serious injuries. The cause of that fire is under investigation. Still no word on total damage estimates.
An Austin lawyer says the Austin Police Department is attempting to keep officers quiet about a controversial subject by threatening them with their jobs. KXAN's police reporter Sally Hernandez is live in our newsroom with this developing story. Sally?
Well, the controversial subject is the firing of Officer Julie Schroeder. Basically, her attorney Tom Stribling says there are officers at the Austin Police Department who are being told by their superiors to not talk about this subject to anyone. If they do, they could be fired. So just a short time ago, we got our hands on this petition right here, filed by Tom Stribling. Basically, he's asking every latest developments next.
And the big story here in Central Texas, the weather. Here's a live look at Interstate 35 and a feeder road there in Georgetown. And we have reports now coming in from Jarrell at the Williamson-Bell County line of freezing roads there. The freezing precipitation on the roads making it very dangerous on the interstate. Please be careful, and we'll keep you updated coming up on KXAN, first at 4.
NBC Austin. You're watching Robert Hadlock, Michelle Baez, First Warning Weather with Jim Spencer, and Sports with Roger Wallace. KXAN News at 4 continues.
Welcome back, everyone. An update on that breaking news developing this afternoon in Miami. A man is dead after being shot after a confrontation at Miami International Airport. A Homeland Security official says the passenger on Flight 924 was shot by an air marshal after he claimed to have a bomb in his...
Afternoon and tonight, keep it here.
Thank you, Jim.
As you would expect, as the weather changes, KXAN crews are all over Central Texas right now watching the situation. We've got you covered in the Hill Country, Williamson County, and of course here in Austin. We'll check back in with more live reports coming up next. And here's a live look at the traffic on Interstate 35 near 51st Street. A dreary-looking day and a dreary-looking commute as people try to get home. Many schools and businesses shutting down early. You're watching KXAN News live at 424.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news at 6.
Good evening, I'm Jim Spencer from the KXAN First Warning Weather Center. A developing winter storm sending folks home early from work today, early from school. We've got the storm covered from all across our Central Texas area. Rich Parsons in South Austin. We have Haley Stavanoa up in Williamson County and in the Hill Country. Connie Swinney standing by. But first, let's go to the temperature map. We've been watching these temperatures drop all day long, and right now, with elevated roads, bridges, and overpasses. Not so much the secondary roads and the streets in your subdivision necessarily, but that could change. We want to get a first report from Rich Parsons down in South Austin. Rich, I understand we may just now begin to see the first roads icing over here in the Austin area. Is that right?
Yeah, Jim, things look like they're starting to get a little dicey out here. We had rain for about 45 minutes to an hour before the news.
Pull out all the stops when it comes to weather coverage.
That's right. It's about your safety. This was our first indicator it was going to be a dangerous day on the road. One person died and another was injured this morning in a head-on collision along 290 West in Oak Hill. And in North Austin, police say the driver of this vehicle lost control on Waterford Center Boulevard. That's near 183 and Burnett. Witnesses attribute both wrecks to slick streets and speeding.
You will definitely want to call ahead before flying out of Austin Bergstrom International Airport tonight or tomorrow. There have been some delays and cancellations there, most notably due to the problems at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. More than half the flights there canceled today. All planes leaving DFW got a de-icing treatment as temperatures remain below freezing in North Texas. You'll also notice we're also running school and business closures at the bottom of your screen during the newscast. We'll continue those updates throughout the night.
A major fire is still active in downtown Elgin. KXAN's Jim Bergamo is there with information on some tricky conditions for firefighters, right, Jim?
Absolutely, Michelle. As you can see, we're here in the downtown historic downtown Elgin, I should say, and the fire broke out. Firefighters have been on the scene here for about the last 4 hours. Now, unlike when we first came to you live at 4 o'clock, it's calmed down somewhat, but as you can see, this KXAN NBC Austin.
And fire forced a family out of their Central Austin home this morning. Austin firefighters arrived to see heavy smoke coming out of the building at 1700 block of Rich Creek. It happened around 10:30 this morning. 2 adults and 2 children managed to escape the fire without any serious injuries. The cause of this fire is still under investigation.
A cold case solved. Austin police say they know who killed a man in South Austin.
Pending litigation.
Well, how can you say no to these faces? They're stuffing a local shelter full, which desperately needs your holiday cheer. That wish list is still ahead, plus continuing coverage of the road conditions and freezing weather. Keep it right here on KXAN NBC Austin.
For the weekend, back to 60 by Sunday. We wanted to update you on the icing situation around town, or lack thereof. Rich Parsons is back live in South Austin. Rich, any reports to follow up on in terms of ice on the roadways?
Yeah, Jim, we've got something to show you right now. Look at the flyover from 71 to northbound I-35. You can see it looks like there are some TxDOT trucks up there laying down some either sand or de-icer or a mixture of both right now. The traffic on this flyover has been just crawling down this thing for about the past half hour to 45 minutes. I have not been up there, so I don't know if it's icing or if those folks are using an abundance of caution. But given that it looks like the TxDOT trucks are up there spreading some stuff down on the roadway, it may very well have a thin sheet of ice on it. And I can show you how much it's freezing out here. Just take a look at my jacket right here. I can't brush any of this stuff off. Something is either freezing from the air, or it's sticking to you when it hits you. And check out this. This is the cable that connects the camera to the truck, and you can crack it like that, and look at all the ice on there. So it is really getting dicey out here. Stuff is freezing all over the place. If you don't have to be outside tonight, don't go outside. Stay inside. We'll tell you what's happening. Watch KXAN. Back to you.
Thanks for that live update, Rich. That's exactly the area that we were talking about, those flyovers being the most vulnerable to this icing, first of all, and also explains the crackling there in the audio, the icing on that cable. Glad to be working indoors here tonight. Someone else outdoors in it right now up in our Williamson County Bureau, outside our Williamson County Bureau actually, is Haley Stavanoa. Haley, any more reports of icing on the roads or bridges there?
Definitely, and we've seen
freezing temperatures and icy roads. Jim Spencer will show you just how long these conditions will last.
More than 100 accidents on the roads of Central Texas in just the last few hours. It is a mess. I'm Chris Willis. We're live with everything you need to know.
From KXAN, NBC Austin, this is your news at 10.
First tonight, hazardous conditions on the roads after temperatures dropped well below freezing.
Keep it right here at KXAN. We have crews bringing us the latest from all over Central Texas. We begin with Jim Spencer in the First Warning Weather Center. Hi, Jim.
Good evening. The critical parameter for problems has been the temperature, and let's take a look. We are below freezing now, area-wide. Temperatures down in the middle 20s in the Hill Country, 24 in Burnett right now, 25 in Georgetown, right here in the city, 26 degrees, and the problems have abounded tonight. Let's go to the radar, the storm profiler, showing us areas where we're continuing to
Screen during our newscast to look for more delays and cancellations. It is a mess right now on I-35 tonight. Your best bet, stay inside. Don't even think about getting in your car. Take a look. These accidents happening within the last 45 minutes. The overpass at MLK and I-35 is shut down. There are 3 separate accidents at that place alone. Drivers trying to get by are having trouble getting traction. The ice on the overpass is already forming, and officials are warning drivers to use extreme caution. Further south on I-35, traffic is blocked by a Suburban that ran into a guardrail. Crews are trying to clear that spot now, and the upper decks of I-35 because of the threat of that black ice. Well, that is now closed. Traffic is being diverted onto the access roads north and southbound.
Robert, good evening. It is a mess out here, and that could be the understatement of the day. Let's take a look. TxDOT crews say this is going to be the big-time trouble spot for the next 12 to 18 hours. That video that you just showed leading into this report proves that point. We can tell you the overpasses of I-35 are all problems. That MLK shot you just showed, 3 accidents there on the MLK overpass. We can tell you the one on 12th and the one on 15th also has accidents. So the result is, take a look, they have shut down the upper decks of I-35. They say that flyovers, bridges, and overpasses almost exclusively the spot where black ice forms, and that has resulted in the shutdown of the upper deck of I-35. If you take a look, the access road here, the feeders, this is basically a parking lot. These folks not even going 5 miles an hour, and over on the main lanes of the highway, also a big problem. Now, they tell you that the upper deck and the higher elevations is where that ice forms, but that does not mean people should be resting easy on their laurels with the lower decks tonight. Take a look at this. Ice is forming everywhere around here. We've got ice on the streets. We've got ice on the cars going by. Some of these benches that people are going to be waiting for Cap Metro, they're all iced over. You're going to be waiting for a bus boy. You better have some long underwear on because it is freezing out here. Now, let's give you some numbers. EMS has responded to more than 100 traffic-related calls just tonight. Between 7 and 8 o'clock, 56 accidents reported. Between 8 and 9 o'clock, another 26 accidents reported. It is a mess. Rest assured, though, TxDOT says they are on top of it. They've got those trucks loaded with sand, salt, and de-icer. They got crews on standby, a lot of them already out tonight to many of those anticipated trouble spots. Here's how they say they're going to roll tonight. First, they attack with the de-icer, and then it is the sand basically used for traction. So the big question for you tonight as you snuggle up ready for bed, am I going to be able to get where I need to be tomorrow morning? TxDOT crews say, don't worry about it.
From the standpoint of the state roadways, people won't have any problems. I expect them to be fully open in the morning. I expect the interstate to be open. I expect the U.S. highways around here, Loop 1, all of the interchanges. Unless something happens catastrophic during the night, I don't see a problem.
Oh boy, let's hope he's right. I can tell you firsthand those trucks are out because we followed a few of them tonight. Experts say when you drive over the overpasses, the bridges, and the flyovers, get off the accelerator. So you're driving along Mopac or I-35 approaching a bridge, take your foot off the accelerator, kind of coast over that. So if you do hit that black ice, and you know you can't see it if you do hit it, you're not going to be accelerating, and thus your odds of spinning out are going to decrease there. We've got you covered all night here on KXAN. Crews are out in the streets and in the newsroom. Best advice, though, RJ and Tanya and Sean tomorrow on First Cast are going to have you covered. As you go to bed, they'll tell you what happened in the meantime, get you where you need to go. You can also call that text-out hotline number, 1-800-452-9292. Again, the best advice, so if you don't need to go anywhere tonight, certainly don't do it. For viewers out in the Hill Country, stay where you are. Our Connie Swinney is live there with the latest on the Hill Country conditions. Connie, good evening. How's it look?
Well, one of the biggest areas of concern around here is the eastern part of the Hill Country, where some folks are worried about roads. The sale. Hurry!
The same wind that helped usher in this Arctic cold front also helped fan the flames of a big fire east of Austin.
The difficult weather conditions kept firefighters in Elgin busy for hours. KXAN's Jim Bergamo reports.
I've never seen anything like it in my whole life.
The fire broke out shortly before 2 in the afternoon and quickly engulfed the old wooden structure that used to house the Elgin Lumber Company.
The wind is blowing so bad from the north, it was blowing right towards our building. I mean, it was probably 200 to 300 feet in the air, the flames, and it looked like a tornado, the way they were just swirling. The winds were just swirling the flames, and it caught trees, and power lines were catching on fire and blowing up, and it blew our windows out of our building.
How scared were you?
I've never been this scared in my life.
Crews from 4 different area fire departments were called to battle the blaze. They quickly discovered it was not only the wind, but the way the structure was built, with a driveway through the middle that helped fuel the fire.
It was just like a chimney. That wind, once it burned a hole in the back, that wind got in there and just took the fire everywhere. And we didn't stand much of a chance. It's bad to see something go and go that quick. I'd a lot rather it had been torn down than burned down.
Both fire and arson investigators are on the scene. The best news to report is that there were no injuries that resulted from this fire. Reporting in Elgin, Jim Bergamo, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Well, let's take a look at a rare sight on the Viper. Not just rain, that's pretty ordinary. This is all freezing rain and freezing drizzle moving across the area. And is it ever cold air this is falling into? Leander, 21 degrees at the current hour. We'll look at temperatures from your neighborhood and talk about the weather first thing in the morning. Next.
Also, this fight at a Texas school caught on tape. It started in the lunchroom and quickly spiraled out of control.
A little touch and go first thing in the morning, but once a few cars get on the road in the morning and the sanding crews are out overnight, it'll be smooth sailing.
Keep it here on KXAN and also go to KXAN.com for all the very latest.
Good night.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news first at 4.
A bank robbery, flying bullets, and a car chase will follow the crime spree in South Texas that sent a DPS trooper to the hospital. Trains and buses rolling again in New York City, but find out how it's happening without a deal for transit workers.
It seems more and more empty storefronts like this are dotting the drag these days, but folks who live, work, or shop down here say, don't sound the death knell on this Austin institution just yet. I'm Rich Parsons. I'll have the story.
First at 4 on KXAN, a new arrest in the shooting death of a man in Hayes County over the weekend. KXAN's Silva Harapetian is live at the scene on Daisy Lane near Kyle with today's top story.
Good afternoon, Robert. 22-year-old Isaiah Garcia was found shot to death inside that house right there. Now police say the man responsible is behind bars. This man, Cornelio Rodriguez, was allegedly arrested yesterday. Investigators believe Rodriguez and the victim may have been at a party here at the house. What led to Garcia's shooting is at this time unclear, but investigators do say that Rodriguez did not intend on killing Garcia. Apparently, Rodriguez may have had a gun, may have been passing it around at the party, and may have accidentally pointed at Garcia and shot Garcia. Did not intend to kill him. At least that's what investigators tell us today. Back here live at the scene of the crime, Rodriguez is now charged with not murder but manslaughter. We'll have a lot more about the details of that night coming up at 6. Live, Silva Harapetian, KXAN, NBC Austin.
Austin police have charged a second man today in the murder of 22-year-old Alberto Garcia. Garcia was shot in his car last Saturday night while driving down his own street. Eli Villapando is now charged with murder. Police arrested him as a person of interest in this case yesterday. That's added to the murder charge for Jesse Rodriguez Sr. Police believe an ongoing dispute between the two suspects and Garcia culminated in the shooting. A woman in Texas City discovered a chilling crimes more than a decade ago. We'll drive down one of Austin's busiest and most popular streets and you'll see something you probably will not expect to see: empty storefronts, more than a half dozen of them dotting the drag. So KXAN's Rich Parsons went to find out what's wrong, and he's live on the drag with some answers for us. Rich?
Well, Robert, you can't walk even a block along the drag without running into empty storefronts and locked doors like this where people have gone out of business or moved. Now, many down here blame high rents for driving people off of the drag. Just between Dean Keaton and Martin Luther King Boulevard, you can...
A semi-truck slams into this Texas police cruiser with an officer inside. They're getting a new lease on life. We go along as hurricane survivors step inside their new Austin home, how they got it, and how you at home can do the same.
The 20 years that I've been here, this is the worst I've seen.
And the answer on what's driving businesses away from the UT drag.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 6.
A Travis County man is behind bars tonight after the shooting death of another man. KXAN's Silva Harapetian is live in Hays County at the scene of the crime. She has our top story.
Good evening, Robert. It was in that blue house behind me right there on Daisy Lane in Hays County where
7 Central on NBC.
Hundreds of car windows broken out every night. How Austin police are working to catch the vandals causing all this damage. And Jim Spencer has a Christmas travel forecast you do not want to miss.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 10.
First tonight, Austin vandals strike again. We told you on Tuesday night about vandals in South Austin shooting BBs or pellets through hundreds of car windows. The wave of vandalism is not over yet. And KXAN's Jenny Hoff tells us where it looks like they will strike next.
It's not a very...
Central Texas residents, many with hoses in hand, watch as flames close in on the fences in their backyards. A drunk driver hits a pedestrian, but hear why police don't think alcohol was a factor. And last chance, Austinites still shopping for that perfect holiday gift.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news at 10.
A very good evening, everyone. Conditions in Central Texas remain ripe for fast-moving brush fires tonight. Fire officials warn it's still too dangerous to burn anything outdoors or to set off fireworks. Many just north of Austin got quite a scare this afternoon as some 200 acres went up in flames. KXAN's Silva Harapetian has tonight's top story.
It started as a grass fire near Lewis Hill.
From KXAN, NBC Austin. This is your news first at 4.
A knife-wielding suspect and police don't make a good combination. We'll tell you what happened after this standoff. A local bank held up this morning, and this isn't the first time. First at 4, the record-breaking heat and the continuing threat of wildfires. A live look at a growing fire right now in Llano County. You can see the smoke rising on our Hill Country camera where temperatures are hovering at or above 80 degrees. Good afternoon, everyone. We begin with your warm forecast on this 27th of December. Jim Spencer in the First Warning Weather Center. Hi, Jim.
Hi there, Michelle. Warm is right. More temperatures in the 80s today. But the big story is this dry weather and the extreme fire danger. In fact, we have breaking news here this afternoon. There is a wildfire in progress right now south of Llano. You're looking exclusively from our Hill Country camera, which is located about 5 miles southeast of Llano. So we think this fire is due southeast of the city of Llano. As we zoom in on it, you can see it's involved quite a few acres. In fact, our Hill Country Bureau reporting to us that this may involve as many as 300 acres. Firefighters are working it, but the smoke has been really thick here this afternoon and even getting thicker in the last few minutes. And so they've got their hands full, no doubt about that. The conditions in the hill country very, very dry. And you can see that this is a fully involved wildfire here going on at this time. This is a live picture from about 5, maybe 7 miles southeast of Llano. You're looking at about 2 miles or so from our broadcast tower back toward the west. So this is in really central Llano County. 300 acres or so burned. You see the smoke stretching east. In fact, we could pan all the way over to Llano, and you can see that it's a pretty good ways away from the city. Certainly not threatening Llano at this time, but this is a very significant fire out here, and one of many that have been burning because of the extremely tender conditions out there. We've been so dry for so long, so far behind in rainfall that we are expecting that this will not be the last of these fires. In fact, we have a very dry forecast to tell you about as well. We have our Hill Country crew there. We hope to bring you more information about the specifics on that wildfire in Llano County just a little bit later. But we're not alone. These fires are breaking out all over the state. Michelle?
You're right, Jim. As you mentioned, those temperatures, or those conditions rather, are only adding fuel.
Washington.
Well, breaking news now to reports happening in North Texas. Firefighters there are having a tough time with wildfires. This fire started within the past hour, and it's near Arlington and is continuing to spread to nearby homes, burning some. Now, we're told the fire has already burned 100 acres near the Tierra Verde Golf Club in Arlington and is now threatening apartments. Now, other fires fueled by warm, dry winds were reported in nearby Colleyville, Fort Worth, Farmers Branch, Ponder, Aubrey, and Burleson. Some amazing pictures there, and we already reported to you that much of the state is under a burn ban at this time. In your nation today, a serial Harley Wade. Well, some serious business going on in Texas. Jim, this is, I don't recall it ever being this bad. 54 reported fires with just AFD alone, and it's worse throughout the state.
I can't recall this either. And, you know, that freeze that we had with all the ice
Right.
really killed everything. And now it is just as dry as it can be because of our serious lack of rainfall. Well, we do have breaking news in Llano County. You're looking at exclusive video from our Hill Country Cam live of a wildfire that is out of control enough that the Llano County fire officials have requested assistance now from the Texas Forest Service to come get on this fire with them. 300 acres burning right now. This is not too far, about 1.5 miles to 2 miles just west of our broadcast tower, which is 5 miles southeast of Llano. So this fire would be to the southeast of Llano. We're told no structures are threatened at this time. But again, you're looking at live exclusive pictures from Llano County, where a 300-acre wildfire is out of control and the Forest Service being asked now to assist. And again, this is one of many. Take a look live from our sister station, KXAS in Fort Worth. You're looking at pictures from Arlington. This is 2 miles south of the Arlington airport. Unfortunately, this wildfire has spread to homes, and you can see that obviously several are burning at this time. And I'm just being told at this moment that Governor Perry has just announced that he is ordering the National Guard to step in and respond to some of these fires that are continuing to burn out of control, not only in North Texas, but right here. We can actually see them. They're so big, we can see them on the satellite picture. This is the visible imagery. These are clouds in the sky today, but those are not. Those are the fires burning up not too far from Brownwood. In fact, I just got some information off the wire about those fires.
5-7 now.
Thank you, Central Texas. More and more of you are making KXAN NBC Austin First at 4 a part of your afternoon. We'll keep bringing you the information you need to live your life. That's our commitment at KXAN NBC Austin.
The Longhorns are in Pasadena, and KXAN's Roger Wallace will be there live to take a look at UT's amazing undefeated season and to look ahead to the national championship game. Join us for the Road to the Rose Bowl, Friday at 6:30, only on KXAN NBC Austin.
If you were a lucky one this year and
Coming up at 6.
And you were talking about it earlier, Jim, we're going to give you another live look in North Texas near Arlington. Several structures are on fire. Wildfires are growing in several areas right now, and we have been told Governor Rick Perry has just ordered the deployment of state firefighting assets and issued a statewide disaster declaration. This is how important this is right now. State and local firefighters on Monday battled 73 wildfires across the state. The wildfire threat level is expected to remain high for the next 30 days. You want to keep it right here on KXAN NBC Austin for continuing coverage. We also have a crew in Llano to report that wildfire, which has reportedly reached 300 acres. Keep it right here on KXAN NBC Austin.
Yeah, this fire is under control.
Turning your home for the 2006 Winter Olympics, KXAN NBC Austin.
Only at msnbc.com. Brought to you by Lipitor.
Wildfires burning all over Texas. Will show you how much ground they're covering and where the flames threaten homes.
A business in Marble Falls loses everything in a fire. I'm Connie 20. I have details coming up on KXAN NBC Austin.
A homeless man claims he was assaulted on the streets of Austin. I'm Santa Henderson. We'll tell you how some say they keep safe.
From KXAN NBC Austin, this is your news at 6.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Vias. Destructive wildfires top KXAN News at 6. Get this, more than 70 grass or brush fires blazed around Texas just alone today. In North Texas, several crews are trying to douse this fire in the Fort Worth suburb of Kennedale. Kennedale's mayor says it burned around 200 acres, including 3 structures. Fort Worth Fire Department helped fight it, just one of 9 brush fires they tackled before 1 o'clock this afternoon. NBC's Dallas chopper spotted another fire about 5 miles away in Arlington. This one burned through several mobile homes near the Arlington Municipal Airport. In response to the wildfires breaking out across the state, Governor Rick Perry has issued a statewide disaster declaration. Perry also ordered the deployment of state firefighting crews and equipment. Fire departments here in Central Texas are also on high alert and very exhausted. Out in Llano, firefighters just got this wildfire under control after 6 hours of hard work. It burned at least 300 acres. Thankfully, it's in such a remote area, no homes are in danger, but it could take a toll on manpower with firefighters still monitoring hotspots. Llano County also asked for help from the Texas Forest Service. Now KXAN's Haley Stavanoa joins us live to explain the dangers to firefighters and the fines you could face if you're caught burning anything right now. Hi, Haley.
That's right, Michelle. It's been because of low humidity, dry vegetation, and high winds. The 3 of them are a deadly combination. That's why fire departments across Central Texas have put out an
7-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Jim. A popular eatery in Marble Falls is rebuilding after fire destroyed that business. The owners of China Kitchen began sorting through the rubble today with a little help from the community. KXAN's Hill Country reporter Connie Swinney has the story.
The smoke has to be often.
The owners estimate the damage adds up to at least $150,000. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. A brutal attack ends with 1 man in the hospital and 2 in jail for sexual assault. KXAN Santa Henderson is live at APD headquarters with more on the alleged rape case and how police found the suspect. Santa?
Well, Michelle, the restaurant says when police caught up with the men, they had blood on their clothes. There were clothes which may have been worn during the alleged attack. They live on the streets, but now they're behind bars for aggravated sexual assault. NBC Austin.
And take a good look at this man. He's wanted for robbing a North Austin bank today. He demanded cash at the Wells Fargo Bank on North Lamar near Rutland Drive. He took off from the scene in an older model 4-door white Toyota Camry. The suspect is a black man in his 20s, about 6 feet 2 inches tall, with a thin build. Call the robbery tip line at 974-5092 with any information on the crime. You'll see a new campaign pop up along U.S. highways that aims to prevent alcohol-related accidents. Buzz driving is
reportedly committed suicide last week.
reminding all parents to hug their children a little bit more.
Never a bad idea.
Thank you very much, Roger. And we thank you for joining us tonight. We hope you'll join us at 10 o'clock. Have a good dinner.
Thank you, Central Texas, for making KXAN News 36 at 6 the place you turn to most for your news and weather.
NBC.
Texas up in flames. We'll show you some of today's toughest wildfires and what officials call the worst outbreak in a decade. Red Cross workers indicted. Find out why they're under investigation for stealing from hurricane evacuees.
A new campaign is being waged to keep you safe. I'm Jenny Hoff, and I'll show you the ads you'll soon be seeing all over television.
From KXAN, NBC Austin, this is your news at 10.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Vyas, topping KXAN News. Runaway wildfires. Firefighters across the state tackled more than 70 brush and grass fires just today. In fact, it got so bad that Governor Rick Perry issued a disaster declaration. He deployed Army National Guard and Texas Forest Service crews to help. Some firefighters were hospitalized with smoke inhalation, but there were no reports of deaths. Now, this fire in North Texas was one of the most destructive. Thick smoke rose above the Fort Worth suburb of Kennedale. It burned about 200 acres. Now, the flames then spread from grassland to homes, the mayor and East Texas. And closer to home, firefighters finally tamed a brush fire which raged all afternoon in Llano County. Tonight, firefighters are keeping an eye on hot spots and hoping for some relief. KXAN's Hill Country reporter Connie Swinney has more in today's firefight.
When the brush flares up, these guys rush right in.
Run right into it.
Hundreds of acres burned along Highway 71 south of Llano for over 6 hours.
Real easy to get trapped, to get surrounded, get in trouble real quick.
Half a dozen agencies combined forces to get at it from all sides.
You hose it. The smaller trucks here that responded first tried to make the head of the fire and slow it down.
From KXAN, NBC Austin, this is your news first at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. KXAN NBC Austin is your only source for breaking news at this hour as this fire consumes at least one building and continues to scorch this land in southern Travis County. Firefighters are trying to contain a massive brush fire right now. If you're just now joining us, this is on the scene of the brush fire in an area off FM 1625 and Cliff Brook Drive. So far, no reports of any injuries, but the smoke can be seen for miles. Now, this started off as like a 10-acre brush fire, but has grown considerably. We were looking live now at KXAN Chopper 36 of the area that is threatened. Many homes out there right now. Silva Harapetian on the ground. Silva, what can you tell us there?
Michelle, I'm assuming you're talking to me. It's somewhat loud out here, so it's kind of difficult to hear. But if you look behind me there, you can see the helicopter right there. It's been dropping water for the last several hours, and it's been helping somewhat because we see the smoke subsiding every now and then. But if you look to just to the left of your lens, Frank, can you see that? See that smoke back there? It catches on fire, and if you look closely, you can even see the fire. So every now and then, the wind blows and picks up this fire and just takes off with it. Now, we're on Cliff Brook right here. Residents out here standing on the street watching this fire. They are all safe. The fire department is here. The sheriff's department is out here. There's a gentleman out here who lives right across the street. Tell me, how long have you been watching this fire?
I've been here for about a good almost 3 hours already watching it burn. Since about 1.
The greedy flames just don't stop. Live team coverage from the spot where they found plenty of fuel in South Travis County today. Plus, a new change in policy for fireworks vendors in light of those fires. We'll show you which ones you'll have a hard time finding now. Plus, a Williamson County pop bus and the suspect deputies say was bolder than most.
From KXAN, NBC Austin, this is your news at 6.
Good evening, everyone. Topping KXAN News, another destructive grass fire, this time in far South Travis County. It's been burning since about 2 o'clock this afternoon when we broke in live. KXAN Silva Harapetian has been interviewing nearby residents and fire officials. He joins us live from the scene near Creedmoor. Silva, is the fire pretty much contained at this hour?
Michelle, 80% of this fire is now contained. Now, ground crews are still at work. If you look back there, we've got some units that just arrived a few minutes ago. Now, Chopper has been also out here, Starflight plus 2 Blackhawk helicopters since this afternoon when the fire started at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All of this because some folks ignored the burn ban. It started as a trash fire, and in no time, it turned into a raging brush fire.
It's a wildfire, and they use that term wildfire because it goes out of control very quickly.
Firefighters in trucks, on foot, Starflight in the air. The fire kept moving.
A house completely engulfed. Evacuations kicked in. Travis County Sheriff's Department evacuated 25 homes. Everyone else asked to stand by. This fire is right in your backyard. Do you think you're going to have time to do that?
Yeah, they're caught. We just have to gather them and walk them down the driveway.
It's just a travel trailer. It's enough stuff to get by if we have to.
Like taking these pictures off the wall from, you don't want these running in the fire.
We just moved in 3 days ago. All our stuff is in the trailer, no way to get out. You know, we got a friend coming to give us a ride.
By sundown, the fire still moving, about 40 acres scorched. The Blackhawks, bulldozers, and more firefighting power called in, all in an attempt to protect homes and lives.
Unfortunately, no one hurt in this fire. This is the very latest. Again, 80% fire is contained. 5 sheds were lost in this fire. About 25 to 30 homes were evacuated. And at the latest estimate, 35 to 50 acres, Michelle, caught on fire today. Firefighters still out here trying to make sure that they protect all the homes and make sure everyone is safe out here. Michelle, back to you.
Silva, thank you very much. Hats off to all those firefighters and agencies. They did a heck of a job when we broke in live at 2 yards away from homes. These flames were amazing, amazing efforts by them. Let's go to KXAN's Jenny Hoff. You can see the scope of the fire from high above Chopper 36. Jenny, what can you tell us?
Well, Michelle, soon we're going to show you some pictures that we were able to get when the fire was at its hottest. But right now, we'll show you what it looks like. Silva was mentioning that there are still some hot spots out there, and there are, I don't know if you can see, it's nighttime right now, but some of those flickering lights you see out there is actually fire still burning. And although most of the flames are contained and smoke is still out there, it was very difficult for these firefighters to get to this area. Now remember, this is a pretty unpopulated area about 7 miles southwest of the airport. So imagine maneuvering around some of those roads to get to fight this fire that lasted for several hours and burned 35 to 50 acres. Now this is what it looked like earlier today. You can just see how much smoke is coming off of that. To put out this fire, luckily, Starflight was able to find a pond right nearby. They were picking up water out of the pond and dropping it on this fire. Still, it took several hours to fight. The flames were looking high into the air. The smoke lasted 4 hours. Homes, structures destroyed. Many people, as Silva was showing you earlier, scared for their home safety, for their property. We still don't know exactly how much impact this took, but you could just see we broke in earlier with some flames that were shooting high into the sky. The smoke was out there. Very devastating, and especially during this weather time. Ignoring the burn ban is a very big mistake, could be a fatal mistake, could destroy a lot of your property, and that's why it's important to pay attention to the weather. I'm reporting live from Chopper 36, Jenny Hoff, KXAN, NBC Austin. Let's go to Laura Skirty now in the Weather Center to find out more about what this weather can do. Laura.
What an important reminder, Jenny. Again, the fire this afternoon started with folks burning trash in their own backyard. I'm sure they never thought that was going to get out of control, and look what happened to them. Let's remind you, our entire KXAN viewing area and really much of the state of Texas, definitely Central Texas and the Hill Country, under outdoor burning bans right now, and with such good reason. A special statement from the Texas Forest Service this afternoon indicates the fire danger is now very high to extreme. That means fires ignite easier, they spread faster, and they'll be more difficult to control. Here's a big reason it's such a problem around the Austin area: our rainfall. This is one of the driest Decembers on record. It's one of the driest years on record. And the only good news about today's fires, winds were relatively light. They're going to be light and variable overnight tonight, but the Forest Service is highlighting tomorrow as a particular threat for fire danger, and that is mainly because a cold front is going to move through early tomorrow. It's going to boost those winds up to about 5 to 15 miles an hour, and we know that if a fire ignites and the gusty winds are in effect, it is very likely that that will spread and get out.